So by the time you see this video, I will have had this set of semi-freeform locks for 9 years. And the best piece of advice that I can give is less is more. Hey everyone, I'm Hallease, endeavoring to persevere. As always, I'm a filmmaker and storyteller based in Atlanta, Georgia. And on this channel, I document my chaotic good life. Subscribe, follow social media, all of the things. So this video is going to be my full hair care routine for my semi-freeform locks. Hopefully I will cover a lot of the frequently asked questions that people leave on videos about my hair. That being said, I do feel like this video might be a smidge long. So please use the YouTube time code down below on the play bar to bebop around and skip around and figure out what sections you really want to know about, because I'm gonna try to be as thorough as I can so that way I'm answering a lot of the questions. And as always, with any video I make, take what serves you and leave what doesn't. Always. So I usually shampoo my hair 2 to 3 times a week because I'm pretty active. Even now, as I'm recovering from surgery, I'm getting back into the gym and working out a lot. I usually wash my hair on Sundays and Thursdays, more than likely. I've been using the Viore shampoo bar for years and years and years. I tried it on a whim a long time ago, really liked it, and kept using it. I don't like to use liquid shampoo bars anymore. I just really enjoy having a physical bar. Every time I shampoo my hair, the 2 to 3 times a week that I do it, I shampoo twice. The first time lifts the dirt from your scalp, and then the second time removes all of it out of your hair. And I think that can just be a really great way to make sure you're actually truly getting dirt off of your scalp. So in regards to conditioning, buildup is the thing you're constantly trying to avoid with this sort of hairstyle. Because your hair is so tightly compact and coiled together, it can be a real breeding ground for potential buildup of products and things like that. So overall, I tend to try not to use a lot of creams and butters and things like that in my locks. And so for me to condition, it's really more about removing residue as my conditioning process. I use vinegar as my conditioner every time I shampoo my hair. So what I do is I take an 8-ounce applicator bottle, I fill it to about the 2-ounce mark with apple cider vinegar, and then I fill the rest with water. It doesn't even really need to be apple cider vinegar. Just vinegar really is great for removing residue and essentially removing any soap scum that might still be left in your locks after you do your shampoo. I work the vinegar mixture into the scalp and then also really take time to work it into the full shafts of my locks. I would say the texture, when you first do it, you'll feel like your hair really does feel like straw once the vinegar is in, and that's how I know it's like really in my locks, like really, really well. It feels kind of strawy. And after I put the vinegar mixture in my hair, I just put my hair up into a bun. I finish washing the rest of my body, and then that usually takes like, 2 minutes. And after that, I pull my hair down and I rinse out the vinegar mixture. And after that, I promise you, like, my hair ends up feeling light, soft, lamb's wool. I get that lamb's wool feeling, which I love. So that is my shampooing and conditioning method, what I do 2 to 3 times a week, again, depending on how active I am for that week. Okay, so my deep cleaning regimen, and this is something that I'm starting to do now every 3 to 4 months. Again, buildup is the thing you are trying to avoid. Buildup is constantly chasing you, but you must be cunning. I know a lot of people love doing the baking soda and apple cider vinegar soaks. I know that has had a whole life here on YouTube and in general. I don't do that. I used to do them, but I felt like they really weren't getting into my locks and getting out the potential buildup. So now what I do is I soak my hair in Dawn. Yeah, I know y'all are gonna feel however you wanna feel about it, but if it's safe for the duckies, it's safe for me. So I've shown this on YouTube Shorts and it's blown up here, but I have a blow up shampoo bowl that I'll fill with lukewarm water, and then I'll boil a little bit of water in my kettle to mix it so that way it's a nice, not scalding hot mixture of water, but like pretty warm. And then I put about a 1/4 cup of Dawn into the mixture and let it become soapy. And then I just lay back and soak my locks entirely in that soapy mixture, usually for about anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes at a time. I do not let the soapy Dawn water get onto my scalp. Not necessary, that's too much, because buildup is usually going to be focused on the shafts of my hair and a lot of product. And so I find that Dawn is great because it's a really good degreaser and it just breaks down all of that stuff. That combined with the semi-warm water really helps to get anything that's really stuck in the shafts of my locks out. Usually one time is enough. I will say in the past, there have been times where I took a long time to do a deep clean of my locks, and I found that I had to do the cycle of hot water and Dawn twice before I felt like I'd really gotten everything out. Once I soak my hair in the Dawn water mixture for about 20 to 30 minutes laying there, squeezing the Dawn soap mixture through the shafts of my locks to really make sure I'm getting it in there and then getting it out, I then do my entire regular shampoo routine. Once that's done, I hop into the shower, shampoo twice to get out the Dawn mixture and everything, and then follow up with a vinegar mixture. Now, Dawn is intense. It is, again, getting everything out of your hair. But even with that, sometimes I'll do my Dawn soak and just follow up with my apple cider vinegar and water after I shampoo twice again in the shower, and it's fine. My hair feels fine. Didn't like dry it out too much or anything. When my hair does really feel really dry after the Dawn soak, then I'll reach for my Dr. Bronner's hair rinse. It's basically a moisturizing version of an apple cider vinegar mixture. So with the Dr. Bronner's hair rinse, it's very simple. I take a cap full, again, into that same applicator bottle, fill the rest with water, and similar to how I use my apple cider vinegar mixture that I talked about in the previous section, work it into my scalp along the shafts of my hair, let it sit for, 2 to 3 minutes while I wash the rest of my body usually, and then rinse everything all out when I'm done. So with that, it ends up, again, my hair feels light, my hair feels moisturized, my hair feels healthy. So before I begin this section of the video, I wanna define what I mean when I say moisturized. So when I say that my hair feels moisturized, I'm genuinely talking about the consistency of lamb's wool. So there is a coarseness to it, but there are also characteristics that I'm looking for to know that my hair is moisturized. So something I'll do is I'll hold all of my locks and squeeze lightly. Does my hair spring back? When I squeeze it, it immediately springs back to me. And that lets me know that my hair is moisturized and healthy. Do my locks feel light? My hair, even though I have a lot of it, it's not heavy. That's usually a sign to me that I actually need to do a deep clean if my hair is starting to feel really heavy. Does my hair feel light? What sounds do I hear when my hair rubs against itself? Is it really loud and abrasive, or is it just kind of a small, a little crackling? These are all the things that I am considering when I'm trying to make sure that my hair is moisturized, not necessarily trying to have my hair be coated in lotion, which is what conditioning is, more or less. So keeping that definition of moisturized in mind, here is what I do when I feel like my hair is not moisturized or my scalp is not moisturized. So my daily moisturization, honestly, is just the steam that ends up hitting my hair when I'm in the shower. I don't wear a shower cap or anything like that, but I don't get my hair wet, like drenched every day in the shower either. Generally what I do is when I'm about to take a shower and I'm not gonna shampoo my hair, I just put my hair up in a bun, and that's it. I just shower as usual, and inevitably the steam from the shower, droplets of water from the shower, all kind of make their way in, and that is more than enough day to day to revitalize my hair and help it to feel moisturized and healthy. Beyond that though, if my hair is starting to feel dry, I always try to reach for water-soluble products first to add moisture back into my hair, because again, buildup is your enemy and you must be cunning. So the first thing I always reach for is aloe vera gel, and I'm not gonna say there's any one particular brand. This is the brand that I always find at H Mart. but I just grab a little bit of aloe vera gel and I work that into my scalp, and I work that down the shafts of my hair to just kind of add a little bit of moisture, water essentially, and soften my hair a little bit as well. With aloe vera gel, I'll usually apply it at night. Again, working it into my scalp, working it into my shafts of my hair, and then I'll put my hair up in a bun. And by the time it's morning, I can feel that my hair feels nice and soft and rejuvenated. It's great. Now, sometimes I will have a bad flare-up of allergies. My allergies present on my skin for the most part, especially here in Atlanta. Pollen 2.0. We're like currently in it right now as I'm filming this video. So yeah, when allergies flare up or when like my cerebral dermatitis flares up sometimes, I actually usually reach for Dermazine. I started using this on a whim, but it's working really well actually, and I like it a lot. So I usually put it on the night before I know I'm going to shampoo my hair the next day. I'll work it into my scalp and really sit there and massage to get some good blood flowing. And then again, put my hair up in a bun, and then the next day, shampoo as before, 2 times, follow up with my apple cider vinegar mixture, done. I don't put oils in my scalp at all. Over the years, I've tried many different things, and I've even shown some of those in videos. So I used to try like amla oil to see if that would help with like stimulating hair growth, regular castor oil. You know, I've tried all the different home remedies, if you will, with varying success. Inevitably though, what would happen is utilizing oils in my scalp that often, daily, even weekly, was always just too much. And I would end up having some sort of flare up or of dermatitis because of it. And so I just don't put oils in my scalp like that. Everything I put on my scalp, aside from the Dermazine at this point, is water soluble. So it's really aloe vera gel is the big thing. I'll maybe put some castor oil like right on my baby edges, you know, just to give them some love. But even then it's like once a month or something. Or if I do it, I'm doing it because I know I'm gonna shampoo the next day. And then in the winter, when it's driest, that's when I will oil my hair, but only from like here down, and it's very sparing. I usually try to go for a really, really light oil. So it's not a shea butter whip or anything like that. That's way too heavy. If I do put some in my hair, it's usually an apricot oil, something very light, something that'll absorb in pretty quickly. It'll add that artificial shine that everyone likes. And there you go. So again, at the top of the video, I talked about how I have semi-freeform locks. I call them semi-freeform because I do maintain my hair to more or less look this way, but I just do it as minimal as possible. Freeform locks is, generally speaking, when you just let your hair do whatever it's gonna do. And so locks just form, you know, and it's beautiful, it's awesome. Someone whose locks I admire, who's completely freeform, is Maiwa. I love her locks, they're so gorgeous. She is freeform. I consider myself semi-freeform because I'm not manicuring my locks in the same way that most people do, where they're doing palm rolling, retwisting, interlocking, and they're doing it very consistently to achieve a uniform look. Instead, I tend to just guide. You know, I feel like I define it more as like a maintenance routine. In the beginning of my lock journey, I definitely once a month-ish would maintain my locks so I wouldn't end up with, you know, as crazy uneven amount or a number. But once I felt like my locks had fully formed and were locking on their own, I like barely did anything anymore. So there are 3 ways that I maintain my semi-freeform locks. The first way is by popping and separating. Literally maybe once every 3 months at this point now, when I get out the shower after washing my hair, I just go through and just pop and separate them. And I don't do anything else. I just grab them and just pop and separate as a way to, again, not have my locks sort of merge together and form in a way that is just like a lot. So that's the first way. And I've also made videos on the channel where I'll hang out with y'all while I pop and separate my locks. That's the first way I maintain my locks. The second way I maintain my locks is what I like to call interlocking light. So as I'm popping and separating, every now and then I might find a tuft of hair that's like completely growing outside of a lock. Through the process of popping and separating over the course of like a year or so, the hair just never found a place to be. I just take that tuft of hair, put it in there, and then interlock the lock through that to kind of lock that tuft of hair in. I'll maybe go the opposite direction, never go in the same direction twice. You don't want to get holes in your locks. But I'll maybe then interlock it one more time to really make sure it's there, and then that's it. I'm not trying to make everything look amazing. I'm just trying to help that hair join in with the lock that I think it needs to be. Ta-da. That's my second method, and that is an as-needed thing. And then the third thing I do is the crochet method. This is usually only reserved for the front of my hair, just into the front to clean up the front, if you will. And the crochet method, I've seen it explained so many different ways, but essentially I have a 0.5 millimeter crochet hook. And what you're usually doing is you're taking the hook and essentially hooking the new growth hair into the lock and around the edges of the lock. It's really hard to explain how it works, but you're kind of just wrapping the hair around it. And in the process of wrapping, you're pulling a new piece of hair in, and that's what helps to form the lock itself and hold all the hair together. I do this very sparingly. Again, it's usually just in the front of my head because I just don't want to manipulate my hair that much. Overall, as you can see through so much of my regimen, it's not actually about manipulating my hair to be something it's not. It's more just about guiding it and keeping it clean and healthy. The thing I love most about my locks is that for the most part, I don't really think about my hair. I just live, you know? I just live. And that was always a goal for me with hair, going from processed hair to loose natural as a child, all that stuff. I would realize how much time culturally in my house and just like in the culture in general we spent thinking about hair and so for me with this lock set, it's been so much about just embracing, is your hair clean? Is your scalp healthy? Moisturize as needed? Then great, you are loved inherently, you know? And that's really what my regimen is about. Because of the nature of the texture of my hair, I don't really have to do a lot for my hair to lock, which is one of the main reasons I always enjoyed and wanted locks, because I had a feeling that my hair likes being tangled. My hair likes being this way. And for me, it became more about how do I cultivate that and manage that without being in conflict with my hair all the time. And so that's why semi-freeform has really worked for me over the years, because it's incredibly easy for me to maintain this hairstyle. Like essentially that is my entire hair care regimen from start to finish. Again, it hasn't changed now in like easily 4 or 5 years. Like less is more. I cannot stress that enough. That being said, I'm Hallease, endeavoring to persevere as always. On this channel, I document my chaotic good life. Subscribe, follow, social media, all of the things. If you're interested to see how my locks looked in the very beginning, check out this playlist actually. It's everything from like how I started my locks and then like a month-to-month breakdown for like the first year. It's all here. So check out that video if you're interested. And I don't really style my locks that much, like at all really. But if you want to see the few times where I have styled my locks, check out this video. This is how I styled them when they were shorter. Again, I'm Hallease, endeavoring to persevere. Toodles.